For all the talk about what the ABC moderators did to be unfair to Donald Trump, and there's some legitimate grievances, there's little to no talk about what they didn't do to serve the audience. Our buddy Steve Krakauer writes in The Hill, debate moderators failed to ask Harris the most important question, referring to the Biden-Harris switch in July. ABC News avoided the issue entirely because they seem to care. They don't seem to care. They don't see it as a problem. When Biden was flailing in early July and looked to be heading for a November loss to Trump, the legacy media suddenly became very curious to uncover the truth. Now that Harris is better positioned, why rock the boat? Steve is with us now, NewsNation media contributor and analyst. Good to see you. You wanted them to specifically ask what? What do you know and when did you know it about Biden's health? Or you wanted them to say, what do you think about the fact that you were coronated rather than elected as the nominee?
I think, frankly, those are two very important answers and two very important questions to be asked and answers that the American public need to hear from. I mean, the basic question that I laid out in the piece is, why are you here? And the answer would be, obviously, on part one, this process that leapfrogged the Democratic voters and went right to the delegates who just coronated her in the snap of a finger. Well, let's get into that. What is that process? Okay, are you comfortable with that process? But the other one, and I would say actually probably the bigger one, is what did you know and when did you know it? What did you know about Biden's cognitive decline that obviously the world found out about in June, but you've been his vice president for 3.5 years. What did you see? What did you not say? And if you didn't know, because that is another possibility, maybe she just had no idea. Maybe she didn't spend a lot of time with Joe Biden, certainly between the hours of, before 10 a.m. or after 4 p.m., as we learned about in reporting that came out after that June debate. What does that say about your role in this administration? I think these are all very valid and very important questions for the average voter, the people that don't follow the politics day in and day out, the junkies. We need to know, and it was completely avoided.
Okay, fair enough. I'm not sure those are really debate questions. Aren't those more interview questions?
They are interview questions also. And look, Dana Bash at CNN, the only other interview besides the one that just dropped on local news earlier, just about an hour ago, she kind of got into that question a little bit. Did you not say enough? Are you comfortable with the process? What did Joe Biden say when he calls you to tell you that he was dropping out? I mean, these are ridiculous questions. So we need more of that from interviews as well. But I think that it's important when you're on the big stage, you've got 50, 60 million people that watch it linearly, let alone how many people consume the clips. Those are the kind of casual consumers of the American public, people that have lots to do and don't spend all day on X like me or watching cable news even. Right. Those are the kind of people that need to learn about why you're standing here on this stage when it was Joe Biden only 75 days earlier.
I'm hearing from a lot of people about the interview, the local news interview, a Friday evening. We were told that she is going to do a lot more interviews in the coming weeks, mostly with local media, but this one didn't go so well. The one at WPVI in Philadelphia. Megyn Kelly, who you know well and work with, was with Mark Penn talking about the ABC News debate and whether or not, I guess the only way to say it is whether or not it was rigged. Take a listen.
Since I'm really concerned about what ABC did, when the refs put their finger on the scale, you got to throw out the score of the game. I think they did a real disservice to the voters of America when they did that, and they put in jeopardy the institutions of debate.
I'm disgusted. I'm ashamed of those moderators at ABC News. It was 3 against 1. It's very easy to look like you know what you're doing when both moderators are entirely on your side.
As we are now 4 days removed from the debate and we look forward, for conservatives to continue to complain about the refs just sounds like football fans who lost and lost badly in a game saying, oh, but, if there hadn't been that one pass interference call. I'm just trying to figure out how people who want to be the leaders of the free world and support someone to want to be the leaders of the free world think this is a strategy to convince swing voters that this person, this man, is their standard bearer.
Yeah, well, look, I think that those are two different camps there. Mark Penn, I would say, is a little bit more on the conspiratorial side. Is there collusion between? I frankly don't even believe that that's true.
There's not collusion.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.